It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another one. We're back to talk about the Walking Dead movies. So obviously this weekend we're gonna have San Diego Comic-Con. It's gonna be a pretty special Walking Dead panel because we not only have the final San Diego Comic-Con Walking Dead panel for season 11, but also there's rumors and speculations that we might get some news, possible teasers for the Walking Dead movie, the only official one that they would have released after the first teaser that they released 2 years ago. So because of that, I thought it makes sense to do this video before they possibly release anything. Now, like I said in my other video, that was about the Walking Dead movies as well. I could have done this topic earlier, like right after they released the first teaser, but I thought it makes sense to hold on to this until right before they actually release more information. And at this point, because there's a possibility that they might release something this weekend, I thought this is the perfect time to do this video. The topic of this video is whether we're gonna see an older Rick in the Walking Dead movies. How old will he be? And how is everything gonna come together? So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break this topic down. Alright, as always, before we jump into this, if you're not a subscriber and enjoy the content by the end, consider subscribing to join our community. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers, so if you're not a subscriber, make sure to subscribe to join our community and help me get to the 5,000 subscriber mark. Share and smash the like button, and don't forget to press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. With that, let's dive in. So obviously, there's been tons of subtle teases that we might see an old Rick at some point. We saw an older Rick in Carl's hallucination back in season 8. And also, aside from that, Scott Gimple, who's the chief content officer for anything Walking Dead related, compared Rick in the Walking Dead movies to Logan in the Logan movies. And obviously, a big part of that story was that we saw an older Logan. So there's been tons of teasers and subtle hints that we might see an older Rick. So how old is Rick gonna be and how is everything gonna work out? So obviously it's been like at least I think 8 years since the last time we actually saw Rick in the Walking Dead timeline. So there's definitely a possibility for them to make him look a lot older than the last time we saw him. Now, nobody wants to see a fragile older Rick, and that's definitely not something I'm interested in. But I think it would make a lot of sense for them to introduce us to a new Rick in the movies who's a lot older, a lot wiser, but it's still the same old Rick. He is still capable of everything that we've seen. He's still the same badass Rick that we saw in the Walking Dead show. It's just that maybe his ideology is a little different, maybe his perspective on things is a little different, and maybe, like I said, he's a little wiser and he doesn't resort to violence as the first step anymore. He's a little more political, you could say. But at the end of the day, he does still have that animalistic, you could say, nature in him. And it could be drawn out at any moment, and anything could trigger him to return to the same old Rick that we knew. But aside from everything surrounding an older Rick, let's talk about his physical state. Like I said, we don't want to see a fragile Rick, but it would make a lot of sense for us to see a Rick that's visually older and maybe older than what we expect. And the reason for that would be because he's been suffering, because he's been away from his family, because he isn't able to return to his family, because he's been kept at the CR, maybe forced, or something along those lines. So if Rick hadn't left, maybe he wouldn't necessarily look this old, but because of the circumstances and what he's been through, he is much more physically broken and older than what we would expect. And maybe that's something that makes him a little more vulnerable than what we're used to, which I think would definitely make things very interesting. But at the end of the day, like I said, the old Rick is still there. It's just that it needs to be pulled out of him. And maybe something does happen that does make the old Rick return. But I'm definitely very interested to know everyone's thoughts and opinions about this and the idea that we might see an older Rick, but we could see the old Rick back. And by old here, I mean the Rick that we knew from the Walking Dead show at any moment, and maybe something does happen to him that pulls the Rick that we knew out of him. So share your thoughts and opinions about this down in the comment section below. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to join our community. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. So if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to join our community and help me get to the 5,000 subscriber mark. Share and smash the like button, and don't forget to press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.